I want gas, but I wanna drink beer,
baby.
wanna talk some
So this is cool because we don't really know each other.
We're going to get to know each other right now.
So the first thing I want you to do is turn on the on-air sign. That button right there. See, like down by your knee?
Down by my knee.
The bottom button. Yep. No, not the red one. That one.
Oh, these lights are kind of cool, though.
Those are the mood lights.
All right, let's get some mood
So
lights.
wait, those get
Boom.
messed up with the cameras though, right? Yeah, we got to keep those off.
Oh, they look cool in here,
See,
though.
yeah, they do.
All right.
All right, we're on air. Pretty sick, dude. Gabo,
Hell yeah, thanks
thanks
for
for
having me
coming,
here.
bro.
Thank
Surfside Live podcast. We got Gabo from the band Fayuca out here on the road with Jacob's Castle, Spray Allen. So you said that you've been touring with them now on this particular run, or is there previous?
It's so me and Jacob did a couple tours just throughout the last couple 2 years.
Yep.
We've been doing some acoustic tours while he was kind of getting the band together, and we did Florida a year ago, and it really just made a really good duo team thing where
Gotcha. So you and Jacob hit it off.
we've been
So how do you back up a little bit? How did you meet Jacob? Tell me a little bit about your musical background and how you got. I mean, you're touring with Jacob Noel. I mean, he's the son of one of the coolest dudes to ever walk the earth. So I'm curious how'd you get the gig?
So we so Fayuca was invited to do the house that Bradley built.
Nice.
Compilation.
Yep. And that was from a few years ago.
It was a few years ago.
Yeah.
We did Caress Me Down
Sick.
on that compilation.
Because you have a Hispanic background. You said Puerto Rico you're from?
So I'm from Puerto Rico.
Cool.
I grew up in Florida.
Yeah.
I live now in Arizona.
Nice.
So we'd been doing that Spanish reggae stuff for a while. We'd done, tours to Mexico with bands like Gondwana.
Oh, that's dope.
Bands with Dread Marai, Fidel Nadal. We would do all these Latin tours.
That's all in Mexico, or does that go to other?
We would do the U.S. and Mexico.
Okay.
So, and then, I think that "Caress Me Down" was the song that when the Noel family thought of us, they're like, "Yo, do the one that's in Spanish."
There's not a lot of great Spanish-speaking reggae artists that.
There is a ton of them, but that song seemed to suit us most.
Yeah.
When they asked us to do the compilation, I had other songs in mind. I wanted to do Crazy Fool. I wanted to do Santeria.
So you are a deep Sublime fan from years gone by type of thing?
In high school, when I started learning guitar, I learned Nirvana, Metallica, and Sublime were the three bands.
Nice.
Pretty much taught me how to play guitar.
Yeah.
So when the Noel family asked us to do a cover, they were like, "Hey, I think you would do really well on Caress Me Down. Can you take that song?" And I was like, "Oh, sure, yeah, we'll do it."
Yeah.
And through that compilation, then we started working more with the Noel family. We started doing some shows with them.
Mm-hmm.
We would invite them out on our tours, set up a booth and get the word out about the Noel Family Foundation.
Sure.
Met Jake, and really quickly we kind of hit it off.
Right.
we just started playing shows together, and it was a really good time. And then he didn't have a band yet. He was still developing his band. And
so this is pre-Jacob's Castle?
Pre-Jacob's Castle.
Okay.
And then we started doing tours together where some nights he would headline acoustic, some nights we would headline acoustic. It was just kind of buddies on the road.
So it just
shows.
kind of was this cool little connection that you guys kind of randomly made. So that's dope. So as a Sublime fan, you're suddenly immersed in this Sublime family thing. That's really cool.
Yeah, it was
so
cool.
So today we had Jacob's Castle, Spray Allen, and you opened today for them at Surfside, and you were fantastic. I had multiple people who's the guy with the really nice hair? He's cute. I'm sorry, that was me. Sorry.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm just kidding. No, I had a few people saying that, and so it's so they asked you to hop up for Caress Me Down, and you speak Spanish beautifully and sing it. So have you ever like sang in Spanish before? Is that something that you've done?
Yes. So Fayuca started off as like a Spanish reggae band.
Sick.
And then between doing the tours in Mexico and doing the tours in the United States, it was easier to do more tours in the U.S. than it was to go to Mexico. You know, you gotta like.
Is it because of like the genre is more popular in the U.S. or?
It was more just like the logistics.
Okay.
So like getting to Mexico to do a tour was a lot more
involved.
Complicated than just like hopping in the van, driving to San Diego.
Sure.
And you still get a bunch of like the Latino demographic in San Diego.
Yep.
So the difference of like traveling to Mexico to do tours, you know, with like, you know, getting your visas and figuring out backline and promoters and hotels and stuff, it was a lot easier to do them in the U.S. So when we started, we were a Latin reggae band doing a lot of tours in south of the border, and then we just started just staying more in the States because it was just easier to book tours and keep in touch with our fans.
Right.
You know, sometimes when Instagram and Facebook and, you know, Spotify were like the way that people were starting to like hear their music, and like now it's TikTok.
Yep.
It was easier to
Isn't
connect.
that crazy? TikTok is the way people hear
Dude,
their music.
My kids.
Come on.
My kids are on TikTok all the time, and
Go buy some vinyl or something at like a flea market.
they're introducing me to songs that I knew back then.
Right.
But they only know like a 15 snippet of it, you know?
Or the
15 seconds
remake
of it,
by whomever is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when that became a thing, it was just easier to connect with our fans in the States because we're here.
Yeah.
You know, so the Mexico tours, little by little, they just started kind of dwindling down.
So like I have a couple questions. Like Mexico, is there like a market? Like is there a reggae market for touring there? Like
Massive.
Is there really?
Huge.
And the other question I had was Fayuca, like the name. Tell me about the name. Like where does it come from? Is that like
So
rooted in anything Hispanic, or is it like what does it mean? Because
so the name Fayuca is like the black market of Mexico. So like
that's the word for the black market.
So
in
like
oh, that's
so say
cool.
you bought that Dixon shirt.
That's dope.
In the black market. It's not really Dixon, but somebody slapped the Dixon logo. That piece of merchandise would be called a Fayuca.
Ah.
So you would come
that's
home.
A cool name.
You would
bro.
come home from summer vacation in Mexico.
Okay.
You know, you come back to Phoenix and you tell your friends like, "Oh, check out this Fayuca I bought."
Oh.
At, you know.
I like
so
that.
The merchandise that is sold in the black market in Mexico is called Fayuca.
It's only merchandise, or is it black market anything?
Anything.
Okay.
So there's a market in
That's
like
interesting.
in certain parts, like in Monterrey or DF,
Yep.
which is like the capital. It's almost like a swap meet. You walk through, everybody has little tents set up with all this like stuff, and all that stuff is called Fayuca. So you go to the Fayucas to go. It's basically like you're going to the swap meet. So like you go to the Fayucas to buy Fayuca merchandise. So that's where we got our name from.
That's cool.
It made a lot more sense when we started the band because
It's a dope
that's
name.
what we were doing.
It's like a cool word.
Yeah.
Just to say.
So, yeah, Fayuca. It made more sense when we started the band and we were doing all these like, you know, border tours and stuff. And then but you know that you could say it in English and in Spanish, and it just kind of with the name kind of stuck.
Yeah,
you know?
it's like easily pronounceable from
Yeah.
any angle. So tell me about the reggae scene in Mexico. Like we're talking mainland Mexico, like Cancun, Mexico City. Like where are we at?
So the scene. So once you cross the border from, say for example, Arizona into Mexico,
Yep.
there's a Spanish reggae scene that started in South America that eventually made its way into like Mexico and into the United States and Canada.
That's very cool.
And even in Europe. So when we do these like tours with like bands like Gondwana or Dread Morai or, you know, Fidel Nadal, and I can name a bunch, but it's more like romantic. It's more like borderline like Rasta meets like Spanish lover boy kind of thing, you know?
All right, that's cool.
And it's.
I mean, everybody puts their spin.
It's a
on,
massive
on the music.
scene, dude.
So.
Like, it's a massive scene where, you know, like in Latin America, in like Central America, South America, and Mexico, mariachi is huge.
Yes.
Love songs are huge. Baladas, which are like ballads, or you know, like there's so many different genres that everybody grows up listening to.
Right.
You don't just grow up listening to rock and roll.
Sure.
You grow up listening to the old stuff and then the new stuff. And Spanish reggae is like an example of someone who was raised listening to so many different genres that, you know, in the Latino scene.
Mm-hmm.
And then just eventually just like bringing it down into like reggae. So when you listen to some of these reggae bands, it'll be reminiscent of some old mariachi song, but
That's cool.
It's in reggae.
I love the mixture of like reggae seems to be like, I mean, it fits into that category of like world music. Like if you look up that, it's like you find reggae and mariachi is so, it's like got such a unique sound. Like you go to you go to a Mexican restaurant in New Hampshire and hear mariachi music, and it's like kind of ridiculous, but it's really cool. Like and we went into this podcast. I wasn't looking to like discuss Mexico and stuff, like, so it's kind of cool to talk about that.
I think it's cool. I think it's cool to like understand just like culture in general. Right?
Culture is amazing because everybody's in their own little tunnel, and they don't really get out, and that's why traveling is so important. And even like somebody who's living in Phoenix and you're in New Hampshire kind of playing a gig, so it's just like cool, like let's check it out.
So like, you know, like when I do the East Coast tours, there's a lot of part of like the West Coast culture that doesn't really like connect with, you know, the East Coast.
Right.
Same when I like say if we're doing like North Carolina or Florida, it's a little bit different. So like I can understand how like a lot of times each region has its own like scene.
Yep.
You know, like Bumpin' Uglies, which
are
really good friends of ours, and like they've managed to really capture that like East Coast reggae scene.
They've nailed down that sound.
They nailed it down, and like Joe Samba, like that is a definite East Coast reggae sound.
Right.
And then there's a definite like West Coast reggae, like California, but there's this little region of Arizona and like New Mexico and parts of Texas.
Are we getting arrested right now?
Yeah, they're coming for Steven right now. They're
probably coming for Jacob. I mean, he was
was
lighting off some fireworks earlier.
There's regions of the Southwest that like are still reggae, but you can hear a different sound in them.
Yep.
That are not SoCal, are not East Coast.
Yep.
It's something in the middle,
which is cool.
Yeah,
we need more of that. Everybody. I had just a few days ago. I had Jarv sitting in the seat where you're in, and he was talking about Sublime, and he was talking about the other bands that sort of like, it's like he's like Sublime was influenced by like the real stuff, and then like a lot of the newer bands are more influenced by Sublime, not the other stuff. And it's like the thing that's cool that I've always loved about Sublime, it's that they really incorporated all the sounds. So anytime that I like, we started talking tonight, and you're like telling me about the Mexican reggae scene. I'm like, dude, yes, like I want to know all about this, because it's just. It's
you're like, wait,
that's
that exists? That's
it really
thing?
like you're like, it's huge, and I'm like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Like, you'd never think that there's a reggae scene in Mexico.
Yeah,
but that's cool, and that's what I love about traveling. It's what I love about like talking to people, and you know, and music speaks like the voice of the people. You know, my girlfriend and I, we went down to we crossed the border in Tecate. And did Baja for like a couple of months over the winter. Like we cruised down in the VW bus.
You were in my hood.
Yes.
I'm in that area. Yeah.
Yeah. So like Baja, it's like, I mean, I could talk for days about Baja.
Dude, did you do the lobster and beans thing they do there? Did you try that?
Lobster and beans? No.
I haven't either. I've gone there so many times.
Like what part?
Rosarito.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Jacob. Yeah, you can. Come here, buddy.
Oh, somebody went swimming.
He's running from the cops.
Jacob Noel's pants are on my floor.
So you...
Jacob! What's up, brother?
We thought the cops were coming for you guys.
I started running. I thought they were coming for us too. We shot off fireworks on the pier, and we were doing backflips into the water. And then we walked up to, what's that nice restaurant on the corner?
Oh, Lago.
We went to Lago, and we walked in, as you see us.
Handsomely dressed.
And I'm smoking a cigarette. And she's like, you can't smoke in here. And I'm like, well, we're paying customers. Just give us a table, lady. She said, no smoking. And how many people? I said, about 30. Because we got a bunch of people from the show to come to the after party. This is a Sunburnt Records Burnt Tour 2025
Yeah, I mean,
after party.
they have to make room for you guys.
Sorry for housing the interview.
Dude, bro.
My man.
This is my man, Gabo.
I'm glad the cops weren't coming after you. That's the thing.
Ask him about the Chones story. About the Chones and his pad. Shout out Chones.
Chones and his
I'm
pads.
kidding.
Thanks, Jacob. Those are nice boxers, bro.
Thank you.
Hey.
My mom got them for me.
Bunny. Shout out Troy. Jacob's mom. She rules.
All right, so at least we know the cops weren't coming after
Psycho
you.
Bunny. Psycho Bio Bunny? I don't know what that says.
It was nasty. My friend Denise said it was
Cool.
So yeah, so basically like they have this like lobster bean combination, which is like their thing in Baja. I haven't had it yet. I've gone so many times.
That's interesting.
But it turns out that is like
that.
the thing in Baja.
Cool.
They do like a lobster with like a side of beans, and that is like what you have to get when you get there.
So like the thing with Mexico when we did Baja, it was like the literal diviest place you can. Divey's not even a word. Like we would go into these restaurants and it's like, is there functioning plumbing here? Like is there like
There never is.
It's so crazy how like the infrastructure there is. It's like poor. It's very sad in a way, but the food that we ate, I say this from literally the bottom of my heart, it was the best food I've ever eaten in my life. That Mexican food
that's 'cause,
made
like,
by
it's
real Mexicans
it's real
in
meat,
Mexico,
real cheese,
fantastic.
real food.
It's fantastic.
So check this out. So the first time we did our first Mexican tour, we went out with this band called Gondwana.
Okay.
They're out of Chile.
Ganwana.
Are you familiar with them?
No, but
Oh.
I am not familiar with any single band
Dude.
you've mentioned tonight, which it makes me excited because I'm gonna check every
All
single
right,
one
so
of them
check out Gondwana. They were the pioneers of Latin reggae, right?
Okay.
All right, so we go out with them, and we're in Mexico for the first time.
Yep.
Sold out, again, massive venue, and my thought. So I wrote this song called "Por qué seguir," which translates to "Why should we continue?" It's kind of like a protest song.
Okay.
The music video was played all over the TV. We were like, it was like a thing. I wrote it with the idea of the oppression that these people are going through, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we get there, and I have that idea in my head, and that song, we start playing it, and I'm just thinking, like, they're going to love it because it's punk rock and ska.
Right.
And, like, Mexicans love ska punk.
Nice.
And I'm like,
Fucking A, bro.
but
The Mexicans rule, dude. They're like the coolest people.
The message is very, it's very much like, why should we continue to play by your rules when you're going to continue to oppress us, basically, right?
Yep.
And there was a moment, and this is the first time I ever felt this. I'm in the middle of singing that line that says that, and I'm looking out into the crowd, and there's smiles from ear to ear. There's people with like buckets of beer,
Nice.
bottles of tequila. They're all dancing, having a great time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the oppression that I'm speaking of doesn't even exist in their life. Where the
Right.
f did I get that idea from?
Yep.
And it was when it all came together that, like, somehow I have this idea that this border town is super, like, poor and oppressed and whatever, so that I have to write a song about them.
Right.
And then I write the song about them, and they're just like, that shit don't exist here. We go to work, we have our families, we have a good time.
Yeah.
We like to party on the weekends, just like you guys do. It was a weird thing. Literally, as I'm singing the song, I start choking up, breaking down in tears.
No shit.
Because it was the first time in my life, this is a few years back, it's the first time in my life that I was able to connect music and people, and realize that, like, this is what connects us all together.
Mm-hmm.
And oppression doesn't even exist in this venue right now. Everybody is either spending their last penny on alcohol and good memories with their friends,
Yeah.
or they're just really that into music that, like, they're just here to have a great time. So that's the way that I felt about Mexico the first time I did my first tour.
Right.
And then after that, I was able
like
to...
when year? What year was that? How far back?
This was like 2018, 2017. Pre-pandemic, right?
Okay.
Pre-pandemic,
Yeah.
And then after that, we've been able to keep doing tours, and like now, like, you know, Tijuana, Nogales, Hermosillo, those are like now like second homes to us. Like we go there, we have friends, we stay in their
Nogales.
house. Yeah,
Sick.
we stay with them instead of like staying in the hotels or whatever, and like we have our cookouts and, you know, whatever. But like now it's like those towns have become like our second home now.
That's
know?
dope.
So
And they're probably so full of culture and so cool.
Yeah.
People are probably cool. That's awesome. I mean, a lot of people in the States, I don't think that they really get to experience a lot of like that culture perspective. You're not in foreign countries. You're not seeing the way other people live and the way they cook and the way they recreate and the way they just do things. And it's so cool to travel like that.
yeah.
So you were saying you live in Phoenix.
Yeah.
That's where, Albuquerque was, that's New Mexico. You're in Phoenix,
Yeah.
Arizona. Okay, so I'm thinking.
Wick is also another great town.
It's cool there.
They have great reggae, you know, they have great food and great art as well, yeah.
So what brought you to Phoenix? Is it like family, friends, anybody there, or you just kind of...
I was young. I was living in Florida. I was still with my mother,
Yeah.
and she ended up moving to Phoenix.
Gotcha.
Got a job there, kind of thing.
What part of Florida?
Orlando, Kissimmee area.
Okay.
And when I first moved to Phoenix, I'm like, yo, fuck this place, man.
Yeah.
As soon as I get out of high school, I'm going back to... And then I got out of high school and did my first tour in Florida. We signed to some label and did some tours and did a Warped Tour out there. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, all right, after Warped Tour, I'm going to quit the band and just live in Florida. I'm using the tour as like my way to get back home.
Yeah.
And then I went back to Florida. I was like, yo...
This is worse.
I love Arizona. Every year I threaten that I'm gonna leave, but it's just beautiful, man. You got beautiful weather. You drive 30 minutes, you got snow in the wintertime.
Yep. Like
You know.
Flagstaff area.
Yeah, you
like,
got like Flagstaff,
Yep.
Sedona. You know,
Yep. Beautiful.
you got Tucson. You got Mexico an hour away. You got a beach 2.5 hours away.
Right.
It's just like I love Arizona for everything, and the culture out there. Like the people love music, and
I gotta
it's
get.
awesome.
I have to spend more time in Arizona. I traveled through there. I did a cross country trip this past winter, and I spent some like time in Arizona and Nevada too, and it's just so cool.
Yeah.
So musically, like where are you going from here? Like what's happening? What's new? Like you're on the road with Jacob and the guys. Like what else? Like what's next?
So Fayuca's got. We just finished recording a record.
Okay.
We're gonna put out with Sunburnt.
Nice.
And we're gonna kind of hit the road and like kind of reconnect with some of our old fans, some new fans.
So did you guys ever tour as Fayuca like years ago in the States? Like
Yeah, no, we've been doing a lot of U.S. tours.
a lot of tours.
as Fayuca.
Okay.
Yeah, like Fayuca still does tours. We've narrowed it down more to just like the Southwest region.
Okay.
And then every now and then, once a year, we'll break out and do like the whole U.S.
So who's like a band that you guys tour with in the Southwest that maybe not everybody's heard of? Someone
there's
that
bands
you're
like the
that you love.
Agrolites.
Oh yeah.
RX Bandits, we've done stuff with them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like Badfish takes us out a lot out there on the West Coast, which
Sick.
is cool.
Yep.
We've done stuff with like, you know, Sublime, and we've done stuff with like Gondwana, Dread Marai. It just kind of depends on like where we are and where they are, and if we can make the tours work, you know, like.
Yep.
But like, all in all, like bands like the Agrolites.
They're sick.
Are you familiar with
I
them?
love the Agrolites.
Whenever we do shows,
Roger
with those
Rivas
guys-
was here with the Long Beach Dub All Stars.
Oh, hell
and-
yeah.
And he forced us all to do a hot sauce contest.
Okay.
And he hurt all of us, but we still love Roger.
Oh, he's got some tolerance, I would believe. Yeah.
Definitely.
But like, you know, like Long Beach Dub All Stars is another one.
Yeah.
You know. But you know, whenever bands come through the West Coast and we're also touring, like we'll just like mash up and do some tours together.
Cool.
But you know, it's the way things are now. Like I guess like in the industry, it's so much easier. And when I say easy, I mean more so like it makes more sense for bands of our size to do more regional stuff. You know, like so we'll go do
Yeah, because you'll do well. You'll sell out
Yeah.
venues and pack them out.
and then once or
sell
twice
merch.
a year we'll get some balls and just go try to explore.
Sure.
And like we did Surfside last year.
Yep.
That was a fun time. But in reality, it's a far trip, you know, unless there's like a festival routed around it.
Right.
It's hard to really make sense of some of these venues where like nobody knows who we are.
Music is very like there's like pockets
Yeah.
where you guys would do great in another region, but it's just that nobody knows about it.
Yeah.
And I don't mean you specifically, but just a lot of bands like I've toured as I've done a little TM work with Joe Samba and like
that's my boy. That guy's
I've gotten
great, yeah.
Joe is my sweetheart of a best friend. I love
You know
the
what's
guy
interesting
so
about
much.
Joe? Never once have I seen him in a grumpy mood.
Oh, you should come on tour with him. Once in a while, he gets grumpy.
I was gonna say like I can't imagine him being on grumpy.
No,
on
Joe.
tour, yeah.
Even when Joe is pissed off and like punching shit, like he's still the sweetest guy
Yeah,
ever. Like
yeah.
he really is. I like Joe. I'm gonna be 49 years old this year, and Joe is truly one of the best people that I've ever known in my life. Like he is my best bud, and he's such a good-hearted guy, and he's just a big teddy bear. Like I love him so much.
Dude, so I've been having like baby fever lately.
No.
But I'm not gonna have a kid. I'm not at that age anymore.
Well, Joe's got a couple babies,
So,
and they're both so cute.
I see his little girl. I'm like, yo, let me hold your kid. He's like, yeah, take, you know. And I hold his baby. She's super light because
Yeah,
she's tiny, and my kids are already older now. So like when I hold them, they're like heavy.
Yeah, hefty boys.
And you know, his daughter too. She's super chill.
Mm-hmm.
His kid was super chill. Joe was super chill. So was his wife. I'm
Yeah.
like, that's awesome.
Yep.
Whatever you guys got going on here, great.
Keep doing it.
You're good peoples.
Keep
you know,
doing it.
which is awesome. Yeah.
Sick.
But you know, ultimately, like we're recording this record, we're putting it out. And
What's the name of the record?
We don't know yet.
Okay.
We're throwing out some ideas like where the colors glow, where the flowers grow. Fayuca, just like doing a self-titled.
So, like, when
Yeah.
you guys are coming up with a name for an album, is it like just an inside thing? Like, what feels right? Do you look at the songs you're writing, like something that speaks to you? And
I think ultimately, like a new record, as much as you want to make each song different,
yep,
there seems to be like a certain theme.
yes,
And that theme comes from whatever's happening at that moment.
sure,
Right?
yep,
So, as that theme starts to develop throughout the record, you're like, oh, this record really tells a story about X.
that thing,
That
yep.
thing.
Yep.
And then at some point, the idea is one day you're in the shower and it just comes to you, you know, or whatever that is. Because like there's like a theme that goes
Sure.
to it. So we have these like different ideas of like names, either like a lyric from a song that really stands out.
Mm-hmm.
But I think ultimately it's gonna come to us. It just hasn't come to us yet.
If you have any questions, give me a call. I'll help you out.
Dude, I need some help. I think what's happening with this record is that I'm so in love with it and I'm so in it.
What a great thing.
Yeah. I've never been so in love with an album like I am with this one.
Yep.
I always write from the heart, but this one in particular, you know, it was like a course of different things happening that brought us together to write. I feel like I'm so at ground level with this record that like I keep throwing around 1,000 ideas for a name and I can't just like commit to one.
Yep.
Because of the amount of love that I have for this record.
That's cool.
So,
That's cool.
I have a feeling the band's trying to leave though pretty soon though. So, but
They're like blowing the horn.
yeah, did you hear that? Yeah. But you know the record is not named yet. Are we getting out of here? Oh. The record's not named yet. It's gonna happen one of these days.
Cool.
But right now what we're working on is like getting the record finalized to put it out, doing some more tours. I've been really enjoying this stuff with Sublime and Jacob that we're doing.
I mean,
right now.
what a huge step to take as an aspiring, you know, artist and wanting to get out there. Like suddenly you're touring with Jacob and Sublime. That's fantastic. So who else is like a dream tour for you? Like who else would you like to collab with or tour with anything? Like who is it? I mean, you got Jacob. So I mean, who else is above that?
Stick a fork in me. I mean, what else do you want? You know,
What a great way to put it. Yeah.
I mean,
There
but-
must be tons of music though that you have influenced your whole life.
yeah,
and-
there's a ton. But I'll tell you what. Right now, at this point in my life, I'm really happy with where I'm at.
That's a great thing.
And maybe this could have been with some other artists somewhere else, and I would have felt the same way.
Sure.
But I like to really live in the moment because everything that we've done has led us to here. And if that means that, like, my friendship with Jacob has allowed me to be on tour with him, and that, like, we're kind of, like, looking out for each other, and we're doing these tours together, and we're sharing to these fans, and it's, like, helping each... Whatever that is...
Right.
When I left home 3 weeks ago and I got on that flight and I got in that van, like, this is what I'm doing,
Yep.
right? And I feel like
But it feels good.
it feels great.
You felt like you're in the right place.
It feels great. And it feels like this is the dream. Every tour is a dream tour. This just seems to be like the dreamier of tours. You know what I mean?
You can't ask for more.
And who knows what's gonna come next? But for right now, like, this is awesome.
Sick.
I'm in a van with a bunch of my friends, and we all have our inside jokes and we share stories, and it's just a really good time, a really good energy. And I feel like that's it.
If you had to tell the fans out there, because I've been there with Joe Samba. I've been on the road with him. I've been in the van. We've driven 12 hours. Blah blah blah. If there was something you had to tell the fans about tour life, or being in a van, being in a band on the level that you guys are at, like where you're out there and you're grinding, what if you had to tell people like some kind of thing about touring, like what would you tell them?
Not to sound cliche, is this the camera right here?
That's the camera. Yep.
Hey guys, we do this for you.
Damn right.
It's not even about us anymore. We do this for you because we love seeing your faces. We love playing our songs for you guys, and we'll travel the 8, 10, 16 hours to go play 45 minutes on a stage, and then go travel longer.
Yep.
We love what we do so much that days are no longer days, they're just all mashed together.
It does feel that way.
And when you see us on stage, every ounce of energy
Goes
is
into it.
for them,
Right.
hoping that they also feel moved.
Yep.
You know,
I think that, especially in the scene that we love so much, it feels like the fans are just they're just rabid fans, like they're passionate about it, and it's so cool.
yeah.
It's very, very cool. I mean, I'm sure all music fans are like that, but
Yeah.
music does that to people.
No, you know, an example is the other night we were sitting in the green room. We're like, all right, guys, check it out. We got a 7 a.m. load in tomorrow. This show's done at midnight. It's a 3-hour drive to the next town. That means that we get into town, we get a hotel, we sleep for 1 hour, then we go sound check. What do we want to do? And we all talked about it, whatever. We decided to get to the town, go straight to the venue at 7 a.m., sound check, or load in sound check, and then the show starts at 11 a.m. Well, guess what happens? Everybody's been up for 48 hours. And we're in the van, everybody's grumpy, obviously.
Yep.
You know, we're all hungry, we're all tired. But the moment that each artist got on the stage, it was like
Like it never happened.
it never happened.
Yep.
And then finally we got to our hotel and everyone just crashed hard.
Yeah.
But there comes a point where these tours,
It kicks your ass.
but we love it.
Yeah, it's
know?
it's truly a passionate thing. I've seen, like I said, I've been on the road with Joe a bunch of times, and I've seen how hard it is. And I think that fans do appreciate it, but I don't think that fans truly know how much dedication goes into touring. Like, it's whether it's the biggest show ever at Red Rocks or at some little bar, the same amount of effort goes into getting there and setting up and performing, and it's all the same.
Yeah.
And it's I love you guys for what you do, and I'm so appreciative of, you're from Phoenix, Arizona, and you're here in Meredith, New Hampshire, playing your guitar in front of a couple hundred people, and now you're sitting in my bus talking about your music. Like, if that doesn't say passion, like what does? Like, it's like I'm immensely grateful for your your drive. It's a passion, and it's a drive, and like there's so few industries and professions where you see that from the people that are doing the job.
Yeah.
And it's nice
we
to
do.
see.
It's a labor of love. We love it
For
and
sure.
We do it for the people that come to the shows. I have the same with the band. Like sometimes we'll do some shows where there's like 20 people, 10 people.
Yep.
And sometimes we'll just show some shows where there's like 2,000 people.
Yep.
And I always tell them like, yo, 1 or 1,000, same show.
Same
Let's
thing.
go. We high five each other. We get on stage. 1 or 1,000. We play our fucking ass off
Yep.
because
And
they
that- I
they
think-
paid the ticket.
I think that
So-
was like the Sublime method many years ago. It was like brick by brick. Like
Yeah.
that's how you build it.
Yeah.
That's how you do it. And
Well, that one
we
person
love
that
it.
bought that one ticket
Sure.
shouldn't get a shit show because
Yep.
there's only one person here. So we always like, no matter what, 1 or 1,000, let's give them the same show. Let's do it.
I
Boom.
love
We're
that.
good.
1 or 1,000.
Yeah.
So,
Well-
I mean, before I let you go, I want to talk about your hair.
Yeah.
Gabo's wearing his headphones down the back because he's got.
I want to make sure I preserve this.
Yeah, dude, you
it's
gotta-
a good. It's a good
it's-
hair day. So
So, like, you told me earlier, it's like kind of thick and curly to begin with, but you blow dry it. Like, mousse, gel, hairspray. What do we do?
all right. So
This is good.
first thing I do.
Pay attention, guys.
First thing I do is straight out the shower.
Yep. Hold on, let the Harley go by.
Yeah, yeah. This is important,
cool.
Harley. Right out the shower, boom, hair product. It's got to be some like texturizing fiber. You know, I
Okay.
use the Harry's texturizing thing, right?
Sweet.
Get a little texture in it, and then you blow dry it until it's straight. I go like over and over and over and over until there's no curl in it. Then I pick it up with a blow dryer. I pick it up and then I put this like powders. This thing called the brand is called Statement. It's like a gold and black. Put that in there, adds more little texture to it. Bam,
Thank
bam,
God
bam.
we're recording this.
It's because you got me on some Modelo, so now
Yeah.
you having a. Usually I'm like, oh, thanks, man.
I really like my hair.
Now you got me talking.
Oh, I
All
love this.
So you put a little statement in there, right?
Yep.
And then what that does is, the moment you move it, it just stays there.
Oh, my
So then you start shaping it.
Yep.
And then as you shape it, bam, 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 spray it. Put a little bit. Put the blow dryer so the spray doesn't curl it.
Yep.
Because you can't mess with the curls. And then bam. And then once it's perfect, you just don't touch it.
Hell yeah.
You keep your head straight the whole time. You can't tilt your head. Someone comes to like hug you, you got to make sure they don't touch
Yeah,
your
yeah.
head.
Don't touch my hair.
Yeah.
Don't touch my hair.
Yeah.
No, that's sick because a lot of musicians you see, like, they're crawling out of a van and their
Nah.
hair's all messed up and you're just like.
Yo, the other day we drove
like
40
Fonzie,
we drove
bro.
48 hours and I knew I wasn't going to get a shower before the show.
Yep.
So I slept like this. I was just like and Jared's all like, "Yo, lean that chair back, bro. Get comfy." I'm like,
Oh, that's cool.
I'm going to sleep like this."
Dude, see, I love
Yeah.
that dedication. I love
You got
that
to.
dedication.
You got to.
Bro, Gabo, thank you so much.
All right,
I'm
man.
gonna let you. You want to plug anything? Any new
Yo,
music?
I just want
any,
people to find us online.
Hell yeah.
We're gonna keep putting out music, so it's pointless to tell you about the new record coming out. Blah blah blah.
Yep.
Just keep finding us, keep sharing us with your friends, keep looking us up.
Spread the love, baby.
Spread the love. We're gonna come to your town. We're gonna play the best show we possibly can. So follow us online, FAYUCA. I'm sure you'll put something somewhere.
Hell yeah.
And just come out to the shows and keep telling your friends about it. We're gonna keep doing this till we fucking die. So
Cool.
Cool.
Well, we love it. We love
Hell
it.
yeah.
Bro, thank you so
Sweet.
much for doing this.
Thank you, Steve. You're the
Much
man.
appreciated.
And come to Surfside and get the stupid burger. That one is stupid good, by the way.
Thank you, bro.
All right, guys. See
Appreciate
you later,
it.
man. Thank you.
Come to Surfside Live. Welcome to Surfside Live. Come to Surfside Live. Welcome to Surfside Live. We shall slay the slayer.